All right, how is it going, everyone? Happy New Year. It is officially 2026. We are finally into the new year. I'm really looking forward to this year. I have a feeling it's gonna be a great one. I'm gonna make it a great one, and I hope you all do as well. And speaking of year, as of recording this today, it is officially the 1-year anniversary since I've uploaded my first video on this channel when I was initially working on my first Iron Man suit, the Mark III, which has been long done, and here we are, working on another one. If you'd asked me a year ago, I would not have expected to be back here already working on another suit, and the exact same spot of all places. I genuinely would not have expected that. So it's honestly kind of a blessing to be able to be doing this again and have the motivation and drive to do this again. Because I remember when I first built my first suit, I had told myself after doing that, I don't want to do this again for a long time. That first suit was a lot of work, honestly a lot more stress than it probably should have been. However, I wasn't too impressed with my first suit. I have this tendency to build something and then 5 minutes later I'll look at it and be like, all right, I can do better. So here we are. We got the Mark 85 here today with pretty much everything done. I do not have all the parts completely on me. As you can tell, there's one shoulder piece missing right there, and I don't have the hands. You get the point. There's not everything with the suit today. I got all the parts with me that need to be welded together. Today is going to be a welding day. So right here we have, like I said, pretty much the entire Mark 85 with me, and I got it all laid out with all the parts that need to go together and need to be welded. We have the chest piece right here that obviously needs to be welded together. I got a couple the elbow and the forearm pieces on both sides that need to be welded. We got the stomach piece that needs to be welded, which this one is going to be interesting because this is entirely out of TPU. You would know that if you've been following along with the series this entire time. Likewise with this piece and that piece right there, that's also TPU. And then we got the back, which is PETG, likewise with the chest piece. Down here we got both of the forelegs, and then we got the thighs. This thigh I'm probably gonna hold on to because I don't think that this one came out like it should have. I think I need to reprint that top piece right there. Gonna probably hold out on this one for a little bit. So I'm not gonna show the entirety of me welding the suit. I'll just probably divide this video up into bits and pieces, but I'm not gonna go into too much detail. There are much better videos that go into detail on how to weld. But aside from that, I think it's time to stop wasting time and get to work. Also, a little safety precaution, please wear a respirator and gloves the entire time while you're welding. I cannot tell you how many times I've accidentally burnt my fingers working on this thing, so please be careful and just be safe. All right, I got my respirator on, got my gloves on as well. If you're following along with this video, right now is the time to do the same. With that being said, I'm gonna get started. right, good morning. As of recording this, it is about 10 a.m. Saturday, the following Saturday after previously recording. So here I am. I got a couple more parts today. So right here are the ones that are pretty much done. I have a couple things to patch up on these, especially this one. But aside from that, everything that's on the table is all that needs to be welded together. I gave myself plenty of time this morning to work and get this all done. So hoping I can get this done as soon as I can. So let's just go ahead and get to work. As always, make sure you have your respirator, some form of safety glasses, or just sunglasses if you want to be irresponsible like I am. And make sure you have your gloves. Okay, so you probably saw that little demo right there. And the good news is everything seems to fit pretty well. I'm taking into account as well that I have some pretty thick pants on right now. So obviously that's going to contribute to some of the discomfort and just some of the fact that it didn't completely fit on, which is fine by me. That's just going to happen. However, there are a couple little things I'm going to touch up with both of the thighs at least. For example, I don't know if you can tell by these little corner pieces. These sting when they hit my leg. Just going to take my soldering iron and solder that a little bit. All right, so I got all the legs done right now, and at the time of recording this, it is about 12:45. So now it is time to finally move on to the TPU pieces. I've actually never welded TPU together, and if you know anything about TPU, it's probably gonna be a little tough just given how flimsy it is. So what I ended up doing is, I'm gonna weld these two first, the two waist pieces, is I gave it some front support and some back support with some Gorilla duct tape. So hopefully that should be enough to hold it. It looks pretty even, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a shot. Alright, big update. Great news. I have mostly gotten pretty much everything welded. I got the entire stomach area welded together for the most part. It's still a little loose, so because I didn't bring down a spool of TPU like I did for PETG, so I still have a little bit of patch-up work to do. Everything still needs to be a little bit patched up, but for the most part, it's all welded together and everything is attached where it needs to be. The only things I need to do now is weld on the top piece to this thigh, like the one over there, but I'll do that once I get that reprinted. And then over here at the helmet, real quick before I wrap everything up here today, I need to weld this little back eyepiece onto these eyelids, onto the mask, and then these little cheek pieces onto the jaw. Okay, so it's kind of hard to tell just because of like the quality of this. Like the light's not that great, but I don't know if you can see how flexible this is, how flexible this is going to be. It's a little hard to tell too, just because of the fact that I don't have the entire back piece on together. This is already a massive improvement over what I previously had. All right, so I went ahead and laid out all the pieces that I got pretty much welded. So this is the new result, and I'm very happy with how everything came out. It's really nice to start seeing results. There's nothing more I love than just seeing that. This isn't all the pieces. I have some of the other pieces back in my dorm, but these are the general main joint pieces, minus the shoulders and whatnot. But this is pretty much everything welded together. Like I said, I got a couple little things I gotta do left. I got that one thigh piece, and then I just gotta kind of go through everything again just a little bit, just touch it up, make sure it'll be good and stable. But aside from that, that is pretty much gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, hope you learned a couple things, and I'll see you guys next week.